Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Friday, October 8, 2021. The moon will be in Scorpio all day today. A waxing crescent in Scorpio encourages us to search our souls, our emotional and intuitive depths, and use what we find there to create our vision for the future. Scorpio's invitation to dive in the deep end figures largely in today's aspects. This will be a good day in general to notice our insights and predictions. The waxing crescent nature of this moon asks us to set our intentions and visualize what will happen when we have success reaching them. The sun is in Libra, putting the spotlight again on all those things the planet Venus represents, like love and loyalty, abundance, truth, and beauty. If you're not feeling a good balance of these things in your life, now is the time to invite them in. Venus's favorite way is to sit back and receive, revealing a certain faith that the universe provides. All of my needs and desires are met. Please forgive my sloppy drawings and writing today. You can see that I have a little injury in my hand that I'm nursing. Let's take a look at these planets and aspects before we get into the interpretations. We have the sun here, and the sun is always representative of who we are on the outside, our outer life, our ego, who we show up as in our social and work spheres. The moon is here, always with us. This is our inner life, our emotional and intuitive self, as well as our domestic sphere, who we are at home and who's at home with us. We have Mercury ever present. This is your day-to-day thoughts and communications. Mars is initiative. It's a personal planet, so it's really your personal initiative or your personal sense of ambition or will to act. We have Uranus here a couple of times today. Uranus does things differently. So this is always an indication for a place where we might see some changes. A lot of these are the moon today. I've got Neptune present. This is your spiritual connection or awareness. Jupiter, growth and opportunities, expansion, positivity. And Pluto reminds us that things begin and end. This is the planet I'm going to say for now for mystery and depths. So this is where Pluto is Scorpio's ruling planet. And this is also where our intuition and our vision questing comes in. And Saturn is down here. That's structure and stewardship. The tried and true things we do to maintain the stuff that supports us. Okay, and aspects wise, we have a retrograde. We're no stranger to this. This is, in this case, Mercury's apparent backward track across its trajectory from our perspective. And it is still in retrograde until the 18th of this month, and we'll talk about that soon. This is a quincunx. And this is variable outcomes. It's like a teeter-totter. We have opposition. Which is, you know, a question of whether we're going to have conflict or balance. The balance is going to be sought either way, but are we going to be in conflict with finding the balance, or we're just going to head into it? Perigee is when the moon is closest to the earth. Trine is very positive, even harmonious. These two are going to be in the same element at the same time, in this case a water element, and that helps them get along very well. Here's a square, and that represents challenges that may arise, and they're kind of the kind of challenges that we just have to notice that we're having a challenge and get through it. Sextile. These are cooperative energies. And again, I'm very sorry about my handwriting. And down here we have direct, which is the opposite of retrograde. So Saturn has been retrograde for a while, and it's about to go direct, and we're going to talk about that as well. So let us get into some interpretation here. Under the ongoing column, we have Mercury in retrograde. This represents challenges with travel, communication, equipment. A number of other retrograde planets have been plotting to go direct over this 2-week period, so we can expect ripples of the unexpected as these planets ease back into their regular flow. Ripples of surprise. And this really indicates just a requirement that we go slow if we can and be patient. Mars quincunx Uranus is also ongoing. This is day 4 of 4 of this aspect, so it's kind of on the wane. Our planet for personal initiative has been in a delicate position with Uranus, which is our change maker. And being in retrograde, Uranus has been bringing about more internal changes than external ones. So we may have felt some urge to put those changes on and let people see the new us, and it's okay for us to do this, but because of the quincunx energy, we should not be surprised if we get a mixed response from our audience. Not everybody is necessarily going to be thrilled with the changes that we're making on the inside or the outside. So mixed responses to self-expression. And, again, I would never say that this is a good reason to not express yourself. If you feel like expressing yourself and you feel safe doing so, there's a lot of information to be gained from mixed responses. And that's what taking risks is often, is just information gathering. Okay, we'll get into today's aspects now. I give these in Central Standard Time since I am in Fayetteville, Arkansas, you all. At 8 a.m., the moon goes in opposition to Uranus. Now, when the moon makes aspect with our natal Uranus, we may feel an urge to sort of break free or do something different. Opposition, however, is an invitation to find balance. There's a price to be paid for slacking off, and it often comes at the expense of people's trust in us. So, when you find yourself wanting to bolt, all I ask is that you weigh the consequences. This is a 2-hour aspect, and sometimes waiting is the best thing. I want to break free. And again, you know what? I have nothing against breaking free. So if you find yourself in a good situation to slack off for the rest of the day or do whatever it is that you want to do that is outside your normal activities, especially with the heart and home, that's fine. Just really weigh the options and, think about, whether you're going to disappoint or disrupt anything there in your heart and home. At 12:35 p.m., the moon reaches its perigee. So this is once a month. This simply means that the moon is at its closest point in its orbit around the Earth to the Earth. The moon represents our inner and domestic lives, our emotions, intuitions, and who we are at home. Its proximity is likely to be felt as an extra emphasis on things related to the heart and home. And here's your reminder that the moon is in Scorpio right now, and that further intensifies our feelings and intuitions. Heart and home. Okay, then it's 7:53 p.m. The moon makes a trine with Neptune. Neptune, our planet for spiritual upgrades, is in retrograde, which means those spiritual upgrades are coming from inward searching rather than relying on the greater community. In this 2-hour aspect, our heart and home are in the same element, in this case, water, and getting along very well with the spiritual upgrades that are coming from within. This is our third indicator, at least, that with the moon in Scorpio, that now is a good time to surrender to the intuitive flow and see what we can see what we can do to intensify our search for an ever greater capacity to love ourselves and others. So, intuitive search. With this, this aspect is actually kind of blessed, is a great word for it. Sort of any activity you do in relation to that is practically promised a good outcome. So, perhaps you'll have some epiphany or some greater spiritual awareness at that time. Then at 10:04 p.m., the moon runs square with Jupiter. Jupiter is in retrograde. Bringing up these kind of satisfying little bubbles of good fortune. The heart and home are likely, particularly, to be feeling fortunate, generous, and positive at this time. The challenge comes in here with a tendency to overindulge in the treats and substances that help us celebrate. So imbibe responsibly, friends, even if it's only because you don't want to miss anything. This is a 2-hour aspect. Try not to overindulge. But otherwise, these are good times. And then after midnight at 1:05 in the a.m., a void of course moon runs sextile with Pluto. So hey guys, Pluto is no longer retrograde. It went direct a couple days ago. And the void of course moon is making its final aspect in the sign of Scorpio. So it's less under Scorpio's influence and not yet under the influence of Sagittarius. This seemingly free-floating heart and home finds itself in a very cooperative position with Pluto, our friend who reminds us of mystery and the intuitive and emotional depths. So this 2-hour aspect is really like an encore for the moon in Scorpio, since Pluto rules Scorpio. And this is also clue number 4, that this is a good time to be going with the emotional and intuitive flow in our hearts and homes. The sextile aspect promises that actions made here will generate positive change. I'm going to say intuitive and emotional connecting at home will generate positive change. And we have many more aspects to get through before this week ends in just 2 days. But the one I most want to draw your attention to is Saturn, which is stationing to go direct this Sunday. Stationing to go direct is a phrase we use to describe how the planet appears from our perspective to slow down and then stop in its retrograde motion before moving forward again, or direct along its regular trajectory. So, Saturn has slowed its retrograde pace, and on Sunday it will begin traveling forward along its regular path. And hopefully any feeling that we're having of too much restriction or structure will begin to fade, so that we can once again enjoy doing the things that we do to maintain the things that we are dedicated to growing. And we will talk about these things and much more as they come up. That's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather forecast for Friday, October 8, 2021. If you have questions, or if you feel inspired to share an observation or an experience, I invite you to add the comments below. Also, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I will leave this up for about 30 seconds so that you may look it over. And I'll see you all tomorrow for Aspects.